Sometimes you've got only one chance to get it right. I've done jobs for the aerospace industry where the materials are made out of titanium. Sometimes they're made out of a material called waspaloy. Or I've run parts made out of columbium. And other materials. And these are what we consider exotics. They are difficult to machine materials. Like titanium's titanium. There's a lot of different grades of titanium, but waspaloy and I believe it to be a nickel-based alloy. But there's Inconel and there's cobalt-based alloys and an unusual one called columbium. Unusual materials that most people don't encounter. But the aerospace industry uses them in particular because they're resistant to various kinds of chemical erosion, heat in particular, things like that. Consequently, because they're not generally in the major industries like automotive or something like that, these are very expensive materials. They're very pricey to find on the earth, and they're very expensive to refine and turn into bar stock or forgings and what have you. So a lot of times when these jobs come across, it's like, boy, this stuff's expensive. You've got to get it right. And you've got only one chance to make this work. So you go back through your notes if you have some, you ask for advice, you dig into it, and you do a bit of research. And if you haven't done the job, hopefully the employer understands that this is something new. We haven't done this before, and they're not gonna fire you or something like that if you don't quite get it right on the first time, because the learning curve is there, and there's a good possibility you'll make some marginal parts and scrap them and what have you. And to be sure, you can't always repair things like this. You can't necessarily just weld over it and build it up again and then machine it down. And that is partly why a lot of our aerospace industry parts are so expensive. People complain about this, and there's a bit, sometimes they pad things a little bit too much, and other times it's actually legitimate because the scrap rate is very expensive on stuff like this. You're not always given a second chance. And I think as being a machinist, you realize that some things are kind of a do it or die. You either make it right and get it right, or that's it. The opportunity's gone. You lost money on it, or you go out of business, or something like that. And I think that plays into our personal lives as well. There's not always a second chance. Don't always assume there's going to be a second chance. And I think that's partly what I don't like about some popular concepts today, like moral relativism. You get to pick your own rules. No, it doesn't necessarily work that way. Sometimes the wrong thing really is the wrong thing, always and all the time. The same thing with things like reincarnation or some kind of a cosmic consciousness. You don't get a second chance. And in my perspective, how I see things is that you have one life to live. Every choice you make makes a difference. So don't mess it up. Now, we all mess things up, including myself. We all do. We all make mistakes. But try not to. Try to do things the right way, and don't assume there's going to be a second chance. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend, people won't always give you another chance. In fact, there's a little saying out there that God forgives all the time. People forgive some of the times. Mother Nature forgives never. You violate the laws of nature, that's it. You think you're a bird, you can fly? No, you're not, and you won't. And you'll go splat before you ever reach that tree branch over there. Well, the same thing applies to a lot of our behavior. You do this, you're going to pay a price for it. Mother Nature doesn't give a darn. So there's that, and I think that's, like I said, why I don't like the idea of reincarnation. One chance after another, after another, after another. And it almost reduces your sense of responsibility and trying to do the right thing. So, no, sometimes you only have one chance to get it right, and do the best you can. Say a prayer before you engage in such decision making, or in this case, before you make that first cut or push the button on that program to send the machine on its way. Double check things, rethink things. I had an instructor back in college that used to say, let's do a sanity check. Before you push that cycle start button, do a sanity check. And that applies to your personal life as well. Do a sanity check. Oh, wait a minute. Have I dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's? Let me look into this. Let me think this over one more time. And then if it looks like it's a go, then it's a go. And say a prayer that it goes well. And at the end of it, if it does, don't forget to give thanks where it's due. Thank you, Lord. God bless you. Have a good day.